Gentlemen, back to the World of Wrestling podcast. Here today to discuss about MMA news and rumors, episode number 14. We're going to go over a couple of news articles here and go over that with you guys and then close out the night. I already covered boxing, so if you guys want to go ahead, haven't checked out the video is on the channel. So go ahead and check that out. I greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button for this video if you enjoy it. By all means, I greatly appreciate it. It helps out the channel very much. And leave a comment down below. As usual, I will get back to you guys on that. Anyway, let's get into some news and rumors. I don't know if I'm going to cover every article I was able to bookmark on my phone here. But I will cover a couple of things that I am absolutely interested in talking about with you guys. First thing we're going to talk about from BloodyElbow.com. UFC. He told the UFC my plans. I told the UFC my plans, John Jones states, provides major update on the Tom Aspinall unification fight. UFC heavyweight champion has not fought since knocking out Stia Maciek. I mispronounced the last name, I apologize. To defend his title at UFC 309. Since then, John Jones has been locked in talks for a unification bout with the interim champion, Tom Aspinall, who's actually considered the longest reigning interim champion of all time in the UFC. Hasn't defended the title either. He's pretty much kept that locked up too. UFC CEO Dana White has guaranteed they will clash in 2025, but fans are frustrated by what they perceive as hesitation from the greatest fighter in MMA history. John Jones provides a major update. Jones is currently in Thailand, where he's been filming a reality TV show and hanging out with viral star Hazabullah. On Monday, he tweeted about eating well and losing weight during his time in Southeast Asia. A fan replied, "Enjoying your last days as champ before being stripped, I see, huh?" John's hit back, says, "Stripped? Laugh out loud. Do I come across as the type of person who cares about things like that?" Holy shit. Another UFC fan claimed that Jones is worried about the belt, otherwise he wouldn't have vacated it already. John Jones says, "You're all barking up the wrong tree. I told the UFC my plans a long time ago. I have no clue why they haven't shared them with you guys yet." Asked to outline his plans, Jones ignored the question about the Aspinall fight and gave a vague answer. "To continue to monetize on this amazing brand that I've created," he said. What a fucking joke, man. I think later on in the week, he mentions that he's retiring or some shit. Tom Aspinall knocked out Curtis Blades in 60 seconds, defending his interim belt at UFC 304 last July. Since then, he's been waiting on the sidelines for the chance to prove he is MMA's best heavyweight. Understandably, Aspinall recently said he's had enough of waiting around for Jones, who fans have joked is doing everything but fighting the heavy-handed Englishman. Dana White recently moved to shut down concerns about Jones' extracurricular activities last week. He'll be fighting, the UFC boss told street journalist Adam Glenn on Friday. "Yes, absolutely," he added, when asked if Jones will return in 2025. I do have another article on John Jones, so let's go over that one. See if it has anything to do with the mention of retirement, because I do believe it mentions that he is going to retire. Looks like Patty Pamphlet. I do have an article on Patty Pamphlet. He actually mentions that he hopes that UFC treats John Jones the same way they did with Islam Makhachev, stripping him of the title. And Tapoya also got stripped of the title too. So, Patty Peplet wonders why John Jones is still UFC champion after Islam Makhachev was forced to vacate his belt. I agree. Islam Makhachev has done more for the lightweight division. He's been more active. He's been defending the title. He's been proving that he's a well-deserving lightweight champion. He's moving up one time for a one-time only fight against Jack Della Maddalena, and he's being stripped of the title. Can't go back down to 155 still as champion, but he's stripping him of the title. Tapoya got stripped of the title of the featherweight division, but John Jones is still champion while he hasn't been active or doing absolutely fucking nothing. I think that's really contradictory and a load of bullshit. For a move up to the welterweight division for Islam Makhachev, he is expected to challenge newly crowned champion Jack Della Maddalena later this year. Pamphlet, who's 23-3 overall and 7-0 in the UFC, was surprised to see Makhachev have to let go of his 155-pound title. With UFC heavyweight champion John Jones holding onto his belt for a year and a half without unifying it with the interim champion Tom Aspinall, Pamphlet thinks he needs to face some similar treatment. I agree. I didn't think they'd make Islam vacate the title, but Pamphlet told TNT Sports, but if you're making Islam vacate the title, John Jones needs to be stripped. If you're making Islam vacate after 4 title defenses, fighting people on short notice, you should let him try and be double champ. Pamphlet thinks Makhachev should have defended his UFC lightweight title against Tapoya first before moving up to 170 pounds. Said Tapoya now meets Charles Oliveira for the vacated lightweight championship at UFC 317 headliner on June 28th. If I was Islam, I'd have fought Tapoya, beat Tapoya, and then fought Jack Della Maddalena like 4 months later, because Islam will probably want to headline the Abu Dhabi card in October, Pamphlet said. If he smokes Tapoya like he smoked Macano, and some others in the first or second round, he'd be good to go in October against Jack Della Maddalena. If I was Islam, I would have done that. Was Pamphlet surprised that Makhachev didn't end up fighting Tapoya at International Fight Week? Yeah, Pamphlet answered. But I can see where he's coming from. He beat a featherweight twice, saying he doesn't want to beat another featherweight. Most people like Illa beats Islam, which I don't, so it would have been nice to see Islam school him. And that was pretty much stated by Patty Pamphlet. I think Patty Pamphlet is a pretty cool dude. I like him. I think he's very good in the octagon at what he does. What he did to Michael Chandler was fucking fantastic. I thought that fight was actually going to be kind of close, but it ended up being a one-sided ass beating. I was still taking Patty Pamphlet, but I would have never dared to bet on that, because God forbid Chandler could have connected with a real good punch. He'd have knocked him out, and that would have been the end of him. But very entertaining fight between Michael Chandler and Patty Pamphlet. Enjoyed that fight when they had it on the pay-per-view. Forgot which one it was. I think it was UFC 314. I think it was. Yeah, I think it was in Miami, I believe. During the crowning a new featherweight champion. Volkanovski ends up being the new featherweight champion for the second time, I believe. So congratulations to him. But yeah, it is what it is, I think Patty Pepple has got a lot of facts he's speaking here in this situation. I think John Jones should be stripped of the title if he's not going to get his ass into the gym, get this fight over and done with, so we have a crowned and unified, undisputed heavyweight champion in the heavyweight division. If he doesn't want to give Tom Aspinall the fight that he deserves, because he is the fucking interim champion, and a very good champion at that. I like the fact that he's not shying away from John Jones. He wants to earn the opportunity to say he's the guy. And whether he wins or loses, it don't matter, because at least he has the balls to say, I want to fight the top guy. And that's John Jones, and he's the second top guy. At the end of the day, if John Jones doesn't want to be a defending champion, I think Tom Aspinall should be anointed the official undisputed champion. It's that fucking simple. I don't think that John Jones deserves to be champion if he's not going to be a fighting champion. If you don't want to fight anymore, then come out and say it. You're done. Retire and walk away. Nobody's going to care. You're old fucking news, bro. I love the fact he talks about Jesus. I'm a Christian and everything, but my gosh, you talk out of both sides of your mouth. You act like you're this good Christian, but yet at the same time, you're getting in trouble with all these issues that you as a Christian should not be doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a perfect Christian. I cuss and I say things, I say cuss words and shit and whatnot, but I believe in the old school values of Christianity, and personally, this man has done far more than just cuss. This guy is going out, doing drugs, and just getting all kinds of legal trouble, which he should not have to be doing. And it's really terrible to watch. And, I like a part of me likes John Jones for the fact that he talks about Jesus, but it's like, do you really believe in Jesus? Because if you did, you wouldn't go out and do these horrendous things. You wouldn't want to do them. You wouldn't feel okay doing them. You would stop doing these terrible mistakes, and he continuously keeps doing them. And it's kind of sad. But hey, I'm not God. I don't judge him. It's God's right to judge him, not me. But at the end of the day, it really makes me question his character as a Christian, man. And it makes me feel a little like, is he really a Christian, or is he just play acting? I mean, everybody's got their flaws. Some things they can't work through. They just have a hard time doing it, like me with my cussing. That's one thing. But man, if I did stuff like what this guy has done, I wouldn't feel like a good person. I wouldn't feel like I'm doing God justice in any way, shape, or form. But that's just the way I feel about it. Covered a story about Chris Cyborg talking about Amanda Nunes coming out of retirement, possibly facing Valentina Shevchenko. And Valentina Shevchenko gives her thoughts on Amanda Nunes possibly coming out of retirement. Get this. So, Shevchenko questions Amanda Nunes' decision to ponder a UFC comeback. Careful now. Careful, Valentina. Because Amanda Nunes, she's that bitch in the UFC, man. She's proven that she's one of the better women's fighters. I mean, granted, she's been out, but if she's been training still and trying to stay in shape and whatnot, she might have a chance. But I'm not going to come out and say that she's guaranteed to win. Because Valentina Shevchenko is a fucking tough bitch. Nunes retired as a 2-division UFC champion after retaining her bantamweight title against Irene Aldana at UFC 289 in June 2023, nearly 2 years later. The Lioness has admitted her interest in returning to the octagon, especially if Kayla Harrison is able to dethrone bantamweight champion Juliana Pena in UFC 316 on June 7th from Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey on pay-per-view. UFC flyweight champion Shevchenko doesn't like seeing Nunes going back on her word. I feel fighters when they are not active anymore, but they were at the top and had all this attention. They are missing this feeling. Shevchenko told Inside Fighting, that's why you see many of the fighters, they have huge announcements of their retirement, but after a few years they miss the feeling of being in the fight, having this adrenaline, all this attention, and they say, why don't I come back? All right, I'll listen to what you have to say, Valentina. I feel that a little bit devalues the word of retirement. I say Tony Ferguson did the most right thing when he put down only one glove. So it means he's retired, but he might come back. If you're not sure, you do the same, right? So it's not so big and huge words about retirement. At least you're conscious that you will follow your word or you not follow your word. It's going to be clear because I feel it's not good when people not stand behind their words. Shevchenko lost to Nunes twice with their 2017 rematch for the bantamweight title at UFC 215, ending in a split decision. The pair expressed interest in a potential trilogy, but the fight never materialized. And that's pretty much what was stated there. I think Shevchenko's got a point there. I mean, once you make a statement after the years you've put into fighting in the UFC, and then all of a sudden a few years pass and then you want to come back, I think it kind of degrades your word and what you want to do. But I also think she states that simply because of the fact that I think she is worried that she might not be able to beat Amanda Nunes in a third fight if she was decided to come back and face her specifically. But she is mentioning about Kayla Harrison going up against Juliana Pena. So, maybe she's not saying that because she's fearful of facing Amanda Nunes, but Chris Cyborg did say that she believes that Amanda Nunes is going to want to face Shevchenko if she decides to come back. I don't know. I have no idea. But Amanda Nunes is a very entertaining fighter, one of the best that ever did it, best UFC female fighter of all time. Shevchenko is one of the best too. I'm not discrediting her by any means. She's a fucking fantastic fighter. What she has done in this division, in women's fighting in the UFC, has been absolutely amazing. She's very talented. Yeah, she is becoming limited. I will admit that. She has lost a few steps, but man, she still figures out a way to win. And that, to me, is an amazing fighter. To do shit like that, from, just naturally getting older, losing your capability of moving as fast as you used to, but still with the mishaps, still figuring out a way around all that and still winning. That just shows that your experience, your abilities, and the gift that you have and what you do as a profession to still stay at the top of your game despite the setbacks you might have is proof that you weren't phony or fake at your abilities at what you could do at your profession. When it comes down to sports, anyway. A lot of what Michael Jordan did is specifically shit that I'm mentioning right here. And Amanda Nunes coming back from retirement and doing it all over again, and she's able to do it again, would be impressive. I honestly think that it's kind of tarnishing your career, though, because you might come back and look shitty as fuck. If you don't think you can come back and look as good as you did when you retired, my attitude is there ain't no point in coming back. You're just tarnishing your career, your legacy, and everything you built. My attitude is just stay retired and enjoy what you have. Because if you're coming back for the money, it is not even worth the fucking time. Just my attitude. Straight up. Batista. We're going to talk about him. He has a replacement. Mario Batista has a replacement for the June 6th pay-per-view card for UFC 316. He was supposed to face Marlon Vera. Unfortunately, that fight did not occur because of injury. So they signed the former Bellator champion, Patchy Mix. I've seen this guy fight in Bellator. Yes, believe it or not, guys, I do watch Bellator at the time when they were in business. Whenever I had a free opportunity or had access to it. I do watch them on YouTube. They have a YouTube channel, Bellator MMA. They've uploaded full-fledged events on there. And you can catch the replays of those events that occurred in their history. It's unfortunate that they no longer exist. But UFC has officially signed Patchy Mix to fight Mario Batista at UFC 316. This is going to be a fucking awesome fight. They actually got Patchy Mix as the favorite on this card. Patchy Mix is the favorite going against Mario Batista. I think that's for good reason. I think he is going to win this fight. He's a fantastic fighter. He's only lost one fight in his entire career, and in Bellator he has beaten pretty much everybody and was the Bellator champion. I think it was for the lightweight division, I believe. Could be wrong about that. Maybe it's the welterweight division. But it's official. The UFC has signed former Bellator it's bantamweight. Excuse me. I apologize, guys. The former Bellator bantamweight champion Patchy Mix to fill in on short notice at UFC 316. Mix will replace Vera on the main card against Batista. The news was broken during UFC Vegas 106 main card on Saturday, May 17th. Mix versus Batista was first reported by Magic M on X on May 15th. Mix's signing marks one of, if not the biggest UFC signings of the year. I would have to agree with that. Pitbull is another big name. He's a legend from Bellator. The promotion has made some big moves recently, such as signing former contender Kyoji Hagagachi and Bellator star Aaron Pico, which is Pitbull. However, Mix is still young and is the perennial Bellator bantamweight champion. Mix scored highlights over top fighters Rufian Stotes, Magomed Magomedov, and Sergio Pettis, but was kept on ice by the PFL after the Bellator merger. He wastes no time since being released by the promotion in May and takes a tough outing against Batista, who rides a 7-fight winning streak. Without a doubt, Without a doubt, an emphatic win at UFC 316 puts Mix straight into title contention. I don't know about that. I mean, Mario Batista, he might be top 10 contender, but still, put him up against, the number one guy in that weight class and see what he does there, and then decide whether or not to give him a title shot. If he can beat the number one contender, then at that point you can say, hey, he deserves the shot for the title. But Patchy Mix is definitely a huge pickup for the UFC. Most definitely. I totally agree on that. I hope Patchy Mix gets this W over Mario Batista. I have no issues with Mario Batista. I think he's a good fighter, but not at the level of Patchy Mix. If Patchy Mix loses to him, we got some huge problems. Possible bust of a signing for UFC, in my personal opinion, man. That is just kind of crazy. The last thing we're going to discuss here before we close out the news and rumors, we're going to talk about Ian Machado. Gary credits Jack Della Maddalena for UFC title win, but sees mental weakness. Oh, gosh. He's just talking shit because he's in the same weight class as this dude, man. I don't know, man. I think, maybe Gary could win that fight if they actually had it happen, which it definitely is going to happen if he can get past Islam Makhachev. But anyway, Ian Machado Gary gives all credit in the world to Jack Della Maddalena for what he did inside the cage at UFC 315, but the admiration might stop there. Machado Gary was cage side as the backup fighter for the title fight May 10th in Montreal. Though his seat could be best described as one of the best in the house, Machado Gary, 16-1 with 9-1 in the UFC, said he got the worst impression of the two fighters' abilities in person. When he watched the fight back, his opinion changed. I know how fast I am. I know real time. Machado Gary told Uncrowned on Monday, I thought both of them looked slow from watching it with my own eyes. Then I watched it back on TV, and it was a completely different look. Jack looked a hell of a lot cleaner than he did in person. He looked a lot faster when you just watched him versus Bilal. When you're sat in front row, I'm watching it as if I'm in there. That's my mentality. There was a lot of things Jack did that I thought were quite sloppy, but technically he was the better striker, so he was going to win that regardless. Bell has never been known for his striking. Very true, because you could definitely tell that in the fight. Especially the look on his face with all the bruising and fucking cuts. He looked fucked up. I think even his lip was split open. Like, down the middle. He looked pretty fucked up, man. So, was it Della Maddalena's skills or Bilal's Muhammad's shortcomings that led to the end result of an Australian welterweight champion? Machado Gary thinks it was a combination of both. But in response to comments made by Della Maddalena's coach Ben Vickers on Submission Radio, Gary unloaded the champion's abilities shown in previous fights. In the last 4 fights, Jack has had one finish. Machado Gary said, so he's telling me I need to get into the gym. I need to find some power. He got beat up pretty bad. Ball ain't nowhere near the striker I am. I think we can both agree with that. Bilal ain't nothing compared to me on the feet. But he looked rough when he was in your studio, yes? I've bent his nose backwards the way it should be. His coach should stay out of this. My son giving him M&Ms is a playful, harmful joke, having a laugh about him missing weight. It's all it was all good. It was all a bit of banter. I'm not flying around the world trying to be a superstar, trying to be someone famous. I'm flying around the world ready to fight. If I'm if I'm needed, I'll show up and I'll do what I need to do to fight. If he's the champion, I'll take the belt from his hands. I like I like Machado Gary, man. I like his mentality. Uh I'll be honest. Just the sound, not even knowing what the way he fights, and I know the way he fights. He is a good stand-up fighter. He got good footwork, good head movement, and so forth. But he can get knocked out. Carlos Prates faced him. Machado Gary, he almost lost to him. He almost put him away. If Carlos Prates would not have stepped on the brakes and went all gas heavy in that last round, he would have won that fight by knockout. Machado Gary can be defeated. It's just, can you connect with those punches? If you can, then you got him. Personally, I think if you work his body, because he's got good head movement, that is one positive thing about Machado Gary. If you work his body, and because in the UFC you don't have to just punch, you can kick, I would kick him square in his fucking stomach every chance I get, just to keep him at distance. He could always go for the takedown option. That's an option he might take, and that's a risk you might have to do. But Jack Della Maddalena showed he's very good at takedown defense. So if he's got that in his back pocket, Machado Gary can't really take him down compared to a Bilal Muhammad. Bilal Muhammad is a great wrestler, but Machado Gary does not have the fighting capabilities of takedowns. He's more of a, stand-up fighter. He's very good at that. So if he can go ahead and connect with kicks to the body, hit him in the stomach, slow him down, and later rounds end up having him gas out, he's got a shot at winning the fight. But watching Jack Della Maddalena in this fight with Bilal Muhammad, I have to agree with Machado Gary. He's got a point. He took too many shots that he shouldn't have. Because Bilal Muhammad is not this great stand-up fighter. I really was leaning towards Jack Della Maddalena, but I watched Bilal Muhammad's fights, and I was kind of like, okay, he's improved a little bit on his striking. He's a great wrestler. So I thought he had that opportunity. The reason why he didn't was because of the takedown defense by Maddalena. And if he can do that against Machado Gary, and Machado Gary starts gassing out and he wants to take the fight to the ground, because Maddalena has good striking abilities too. He's not some chump. So it's all depending on the situation, how everything unfolds. I like them both. I think they're even money, honestly, if you were to bet on this fight. I think you'd be out of your fucking mind to bet on this fight. This fight could go either way, honestly. But yeah, I think these two going at it one-on-one for that welterweight title, if he can get past Islam Makhachev, oh shit, bro. I am all for that. I might even buy the damn pay-per-view if it actually comes to fruition on a UFC pay-per-view card. So we'll see how things go. I love Machado Gary. I think he's a good fighter, but he is beatable. If you can hit him hard enough in the fucking face, you can beat him. Carlos Prates should have won that fucking fight. I don't give a shit what anyone says. He let off on the gas. I don't know why he didn't continue to keep hitting him. Even if he managed to get caught in a submission with a leg lock or some shit, it doesn't matter. He was losing that fight going into a decision. There was no reason for Carlos Prates to stop hitting him until the referee had to stop the fight from the strikes. But yeah, that was a missed opportunity by Carlos Prates to pick up an amazing comeback from a fight that he was definitely losing going into the decision. But that's just my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll definitely get back to you on that. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys again, and have a great night, guys. Bye.